Hello, Poi. I'd like to give you some feedback on your task 2 essay. So first of all, we're going to look at your marks. So have a look at the table here at the bottom. So for task response, I think that would be a 6. You have a very good range of arguments, and you've given examples and reasons and consequences for all of them. So that works very, very well. That's very good. Everything in your answer is relevant, and it's also a complete essay. So that works very well. The areas that you would need to work on is, first of all, the conclusion. So in the conclusion, you've really just summarized what you've said in the paragraphs, and that's not really a conclusion. So you need to give your own view on this topic. Okay. You've said here, in your personal opinion, there are more advantages. So you need to expand on that in the conclusion. Okay. And a good thing to do in the conclusion is to give some kind of recommendation. So how can people make living with their parents better, more beneficial? Okay. The other issue with the task response is that here in the second body paragraph, you've given a personal example. So you don't want to do this in the task 2 essay. When it says use your own experience, it means use what you know, but you shouldn't talk about yourself or a friend or somebody that you know, okay? Because that's not formal and it's not objective, okay? So always talk in general terms. Then in terms of coherence and cohesion, okay, this was very good. I think this is definitely a 7. The paragraphs are very, very well done. You really move through your arguments in a very smooth way, in a very logical way. Everything links together. And, you use really good introductory phrases like one of the main drawbacks, the reason for this, for instance. So excellent coherence and cohesion. Lexical resource, the vocabulary. The vocabulary is all very accurate. The spelling is good. It's all relevant to the topic that we are talking about. In order to get a 7 for this area, you really need to use sort of less common terms. And I'm not sure that there are enough examples of that for you to get a 7. But I think it's very close. I think you are really somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for vocabulary. Finally, in terms of grammar, so this is probably where you need to do the most work. So in terms of sentences, most of your sentences are complex, so that's very, very good. And you're using different things, sort of you're using which, and you're using if, to solve, so you're using the infinitive. So that's very good. And there's some very good accuracy in a lot of the cases. However, as you can see, I've highlighted quite a few mistakes, and those are all really grammar mistakes. Okay, so really you would need to be checking those mistakes and trying to eliminate them in order to get a higher score. I think overall you're looking at probably a 6.5 for the task 2. Okay, if we look at the errors here, so this just isn't quite the right form. So you need to say just the advantages are greater than the disadvantages. Okay. Here we've got the wrong form of the word. So we have would like to. So you need to use a verb after that. So that would be depend. And after depend, we always have depend on. Okay, so be careful with your prepositions there. Another preposition area is help. We always say help somebody with something. Okay, so you need to include with here. And here the what, if you put what, then you need to have a full sentence. So you need to have a verb after that. What an effective way is to solve the problems. Or you can just take out what. They would not learn an effective way to solve the problems. That's a perfectly good sentence. Okay, here in terms of like, this is really more of vocabulary. So like is a little bit informal. Okay, a better alternative to like would be such as. Okay, here with cost. Okay, whenever you have a noun and then of and then another noun, you always put the in front of the first noun. Okay, so it's the cost of living. Okay. Here, just be careful with your agreement. We have a plural noun, so we need to have a plural verb here. Okay. And finally here, this is not quite the right form. I think that you mean they are used to working. In other words, they're familiar with that. It's something that they've done for a long time. But this is not the correct construction for that. Okay. So overall, in terms of advice, I would check out these mistakes and try maybe to rewrite those sentences with the correct form. I think that the best thing that you can do in the short term is work on your conclusion. Okay, make sure that you're not just summarizing. Make sure that you have a point of view in the conclusion, and also try to write some kind of recommendation. Make sure that you don't use personal examples as well. And if you can try and find some more high-level vocabulary, that would be good as well. Okay, I hope this was helpful, Poi.